Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Andrew, and we're both native speakers living here in Poland for many, many years now. Too many years.
Many, many years. We're not telling you how many.
And as you know, we have tried again and again to help you translate certain Polish words into English. And today we have a special topic for you, and that's
April Fools!
April Fools, right? And that, of course, is prima aprilis. Now, there are a lot of words that are related to fooling somebody, right?
Right.
So first we want to go through some of those words, and one of the most difficult words I have to translate into Polish is this word. We'll start with an English word, in fact, is hoax.
A hoax.
And what is a hoax? Can you explain it to me, Amanda?
Well, a hoax would be publicly playing a joke, or maybe not even a joke, but trying to fool, I would say, the public, really.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a little talk about it before we came here to film it, and we really can't figure out exactly how to translate it into Polish.
But there are a lot of words in Polish that approximate its meaning. But the word hoax, can you give an example of it that would help us to explain to our viewers what is a hoax? Because it is a verb. Mm-hmm. I hoaxed him, right? But for them, no, it's not a verb.
Is it a verb? He hoaxed. Hoaxed it? I don't know if I don't think it's a verb.
No, it isn't. I'm wrong. So it's not a verb. It's only a noun.
Hoax is a noun.
But you can use the word prank, which is a little bit different.
You prank somebody.
And that's a noun as well.
Yeah.
Now we'll discuss the differences between a hoax and a prank. So a hoax, as you said, is public.
Yeah. And to me it would be something like making footprints and saying that you found Bigfoot, or claiming, like back when they had the mediums and spiritualists, and there would really be somebody under the table knocking and making ghost noises, and they would say that they were, speaking to the ghost of your dead uncle.
So you mean you're fooling a larger group of people,
right? Not
just one person, as in the case with prank.
That's a prank. Yeah,
that's a prank.
On
but with a hoax, it's a larger group of people. And I gave you the example before, and it's in textbooks. I don't know necessarily if it's true, but with the left-handed hamburger from Burger King. Supposedly back in the 80s or 90s, there was a huge advertisement out, and they said, oh, we have a special hamburger for left-handed people, and people just lined up outside Burger King to get that hamburger. Now that was a total hoax. It was an April Fool's Day joke, a hoax, and many people fell for it. Mm-hmm. They fell for it, meaning they believed it. They were victimized by that hoax.
Okay, and you fall for a hoax. You fall for a hoax, you fall for a prank. And that's the whole thing with April Fools, right?
That's right. Now we're going to go into the Polish vocabulary, which should be a little bit easier for us to translate into English. The first one we have there is...
We've dowcip and KAWAŁ, which to me is about the same thing. It's a joke. Mm-hmm. But apparently KAWAŁ is how our Secretary Marta thought would be the best translation for hoax.
Well, it really depends, because with dowcip, for the most part, is, a joke.
Right.
But it can also be, if you use it as an adjective, dowcipny, then it would be witty.
Witty.
And now what does witty mean, for the most part? It's not
witty
jokey.
Is sort of clever and funny in a clever way. If you're witty, it kind of gives the impression of somebody who's quick.
That's right. I mean, in Britain, they typically use this word. Oh, he's so witty.
Right.
I mean, Americans, do we use that as often?
Witty?
Oh, I'm looking, he's so witty. It's like a compliment.
It's a compliment. I would say, you could say somebody has a sharp wit.
Wit. That's a little bit different, isn't it?
Right. And it doesn't even mean they're funny. If you do something, you kept your wits, about you in a stressful situation or whatever, it just means that you kind of kept it together mentally. It doesn't necessarily mean funny.
Okay. So wits, of course, means that your mind, yes?
Right.
But we're talking about dowcip, and dowcip is joke. For the most part, dowcipny can be witty, right? And KAWAŁ, for the most part, is joke as well.
Right.
But my question, it can also mean, of course, those of you who are studying Polish, KAWAŁ can mean peace or KAWAŁek.
To me, a KAWAŁ is like the joke, the classic joke with the setup and the punchline and,
Punchline, of course, would be puenta, right? Oh. So we have a number of words that we're trying to get through, and it's not so easy because in Polish you do have a number of words that for us are pretty much just joke. And ŻART is another one.
Right, and a ŻART, that's more just when you say something funny, right? I mean...
It is a joke, though. I mean, he's joking, I joked. In Polish, you say robić dowcip, robić kawał, or you can say żartować. And it's all the same to me.
Yeah. I
mean, in English, are there differences between these words? Among these words?
I think In this case, we just have this word joke. And a prank is more, elaborate, where you set somebody up
You're fooling
to fool
them.
them.
And to fool
Right,
them.
right.
And a joke is just a general word that can be used.
Yeah.
Of course, it can be used in a derogatory manner, just as in
Like,
Poland.
You're joking. Żartujesz.
Or
Nie
you're
żartuj.
kidding.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
what a joke. This restaurant is a joke.
Exactly, yeah.
So you could use it
Just meaning-
similarly as they do here in
Yeah,
Poland.
something you can't
Żart.
take seriously. Or I guess here they say they have this thing, niepoważnie, So, I mean, I don't know if that's different too, but that's also like...
So the żart, it's also possible.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so we're going to go on to another word, and that is FIGIEL.
Right.
So I don't know, I don't use this word very
I never
much.
use it. I don't really...
More jokes.
It's another joke.
Spłatasz nothing, it doesn't work for you.
Yeah, I guess that's something maybe along the lines of a prank, right? Psikus is also more like a prank.
Of course, that's what
Yeah.
they say when they knock on your door and they're trying to do the
Right.
Halloween thing here.
Yeah, and that would be, things like toilet paper in the trees, soap on the windows, something
So it's
worse.
a little bit of a trick though, right?
Right. And it's more of an annoyance. It's not, I don't think, a cleverly thought out thing. Just something kind of,
For the most part, yeah. Now, the problem is that there's another word in Polish, and that is oszustwo, which to me is a word that people use rather often here.
Right.
And it's so strong to me as an American, because you say, oh, it's a joke, this is not serious, as you say, but then they'll use the word oszukiwać, oszustwo.
Right.
And some people have told me, oh, well, that's hoax, but that hoax is kind of a fun element to it, doesn't it?
Well,
I mean,
yeah, a hoax, I suppose a hoax could damage somebody, in some way, but it's usually meant, I think, just to demonstrate that you can fool somebody. Oszustwo, that would be something like fraud, deception, this would be where you completely just outright lie and do something dishonest.
Well, a cheat.
Or cheat,
yeah.
to me it has to do, you're losing money or you're ruining somebody
But
somehow,
we don't use it as regularly. I have the opinion we don't use it as regularly in everyday English.
Because it's rather serious to accuse somebody of being a fraud or a cheat or a
but if
deceiver. I mean, it's all very heavy.
Well, if you use that word, he's a deceiver. No, that was just a hoax, honey.
Right.
Don't get upset.
Yeah.
I was deceiving you.
It's so interesting now because we have this whole thing with fake news. Everything, you have to watch out for the fake news. And, so I'm not sure where that falls in here, the fake news. To me, fake news, I guess, is hoax. Maybe deception, fraud.
Manipulation.
Fraud.
Okay,
right.
this is much more difficult than we had.
That's
Much more difficult than we had anticipated. So we're going to move on to the people.
right. The
And-
people.
The people. And what is a fool? Fool, to translate these words that you have in Polish. And one of my favorites is palant, which is used in Polish from time to time. And palant, for the most part, is just a jerk. A jerk.
A
Who's
jerk.
a jerk.
Right.
Now, do you remember that jerk is also a verb, which means like a sudden movement. That you can say, oh, he jerked his knee. It was an automatic reaction. Or I had to jerk the machine in order to get my, I don't know, cola out.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a connection. If there is, it might have to do with being clumsy or something like that. I mean, when I think of fool as kind of an image, I think the original image is that of kind of like a jester or a clown,
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
But a jerk is stronger.
Right.
I
A
think for the
jerk
most
is,
part.
well, a jerk tends to have bad intentions, right? I mean, if you call somebody a jerk, you kind of, they're not a good person for whatever reason. It's a little more negative than just saying, oh, he's kind of a clown. I think a clown, it's not necessarily their fault, right?
With a jerk,
Yeah.
there's something wrong, he's causing problems. So that was why I myself had such a difficult situation when somebody says, grać w palanta. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, he's playing an idiot.
Right.
But no, actually, it's kind of a European, Polish version of baseball, stickball.
Stickball, like they played in the 30s in the street or something.
I think it was even
don't
before
know.
that. So it does not have anything
Yeah.
to do with our jerk. It's not playing jerk. Which brings us to another word, BAΛΒΑN,
Right.
which to me, again, I made a huge mistake with my son. I was reading a book and the word was BAΛΒAN in there. And a BALVAN appeared in the parking lot, or in British English, car park. And I thought, oh, how strange, a snowman has come into the action. And of course, BALVAN can also just mean like adult, a jackass, a dummy.
A dummy. Maybe it sounds to me like it would be close to closer to dummy. It's like a thing that looks like it's kind of anthropomorphic, but it doesn't have anything in there. So that makes
inside.
sense.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Well, can you say like nitwit, numbskull? Do we use
It
these
sounds
words?
like the Three Stooges. Oh yeah, numbskull. Yeah, there's like 100 words for this. Yeah, numbskull, knucklehead.
But we don't use those words very often,
No,
do we?
no.
And so what would you say for BAWWAN? Is it just another jerk?
BAWWAN. Oh.
Jackass? I mean, that's strong.
A jackass is strong. I mean, when we get down to payats, that to me is more like jackass. That's when you really don't like somebody or something they did. And you say, oh, you know.
Okay, so let's go right to payats.
Let's
We've
go
moved
there.
from BAWWAN to
Okay.
payats. So payats, of course, is just simply clown, but the problem is that in English we can say, oh, he's a clown, and I don't think it's as insulting as using the word payats. Like in New York we use payats. Italians do. Italian Americans.
Is that the same word?
Yeah, I think it all comes from Latin, from
Okay.
Italian. So, but for the most part, clown is not so insulting.
Right.
Oh, he's a real clown. He's the clown of the party. He makes people laugh. But payats,
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it is like what, a jumping jack or a clown or...
well, payatsiki, yeah, you can do the
thing
jumping
that
jack.
pops out of the box or the that's different, Jack in the Box. But, you know, yeah, so it's somebody who is, you know, not someone you wouldn't take seriously, I guess.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to another one. I think it's quite strong. KRETYN.
Cretin, yeah.
And in English, you can directly translate that
Yeah.
as a cretin.
Cretin, right.
But we don't use this word, do we?
Not really, because, you know, you looked it up, and it's apparently a condition where, you know, you're actually born with a deformity of some kind, and I think
Because
mental
of the
problems.
thyroid glands,
Yeah,
yes.
thyroid, you know, so it's somebody who has a condition, and I think it also impairs you mentally.
But we don't use this word. Sometimes people will use it.
Cretin.
I felt cretin is more like an educated term that people would use. Like
right.
somebody that is a little bit more educated said, oh, what a cretin. But you wouldn't yell out the window, cretins, get away from my car.
Right, right.
You just say idiots,
Idiot.
jerks, moron.
Moron. And so, yeah, all of that stuff actually it's actually, these are terms in psychology for rating people who are lower than average intelligence. So apparently an idiot is somewhere developmentally under 2. Then you get to an imbecile who's a little bit more smarter, but still kind of mentally like a child. And then a moron is functional, but just barely. So.
But moron is more commonly used in the United States,
if you call,
right?
Yeah.
We don't,
there's, I
they
don't
use
know.
so many other words like wanka or, you know, other words that they use for the most part. But we're going to stick to American terms because we're experts in America,
Right.
supposedly. I'm going to move on to another word, which I find to be funny too, is gwomp. And this word really is just the heart of the cabbage.
Right.
The heart of the cabbage, but it also has a negative meaning in Polish as well. It's kind of like meathead or fathead or knucklehead, like just thick inside.
Yeah. Thickhead, meathead. Yeah, okay. Blockhead.
Blockhead, there's
Right,
a
right.
What a blockhead.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's move on.
Oh, we could get more crass, but we won't because we don't want to get censored on YouTube.
But then there's the last one I want to talk about in terms of a noun, and that's BARAN.
Okay.
Now, we can't call someone, oh, he's a real ram.
No. You do sometimes hear somebody, he's somebody like calling some guy an old goat or something, but it's not implying that he's stupid. And, and when you call somebody a baran, it means he's, you know, kind of...
But a ram is like the male sheep.
Right.
You're not talking about a goat in any way.
Right. Well, you know, I don't know. Maybe because
It's
they
just
go
like
around
he
and
just rams through
bunt their
everything.
heads into things, you know, it's kind of that kind of behavior. I mean, I would think if somebody was behaving in a way that was kind
Knucklehead? Would that work for you?
of bonehead or something.
Bonehead?
I mean, there's so many.
Schmuck?
Schmuck. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of terms, but for the most part, we don't use the word
No,
ram.
no.
We don't use a heart of cabbage. There's no way. These are all things that are culturally linked to
specifically
Poland.
Polish, yeah.
Payats, we just don't use the clown. We can't say in that derogatory manner that you would say, oh, he's a real clown. It
Yeah.
doesn't have the same connotation.
Right.
KRETYN we just don't use anymore unless you're relatively educated and you want to make a strong statement. But for the most part, I don't hear this word that's...
And they don't, do
used.
they call people donkeys here too? Like we would say if somebody was just behaving kind of like a big jerk, you'd say, oh, what a jackass he is. But
But the jackass, I mean, that has...
What do you
a
mean?
meaning. Yeah, we do say, but it also has that vulgar side to it, right?
Well, it
Ass,
is
so
vulgar, but it's actually a name of the animal, right?
I know it is.
Yeah,
but
like
what
a
an
donkey.
ass,
You
what
call
a
somebody,
jackass.
but you don't say, "Oh, he's such a donkey." But I think, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've heard people say that here, but it's not terribly common. But
No, they stick with BARAN, BAۯWAN,
Right.
PALANT.
so
I mean,
maybe
idiota,
BARAN would
you
be
know.
more, yeah, idiot, KRETYN. Yeah, they throw KRETYN around quite
I
a
know,
lot more than we
you
do
can't
here.
use this one.
Yeah.
The next one I have is głupi, which I
Głupi.
find is a really important word. Typically, we just translate that as silly.
Right.
But some of my students say stupid.
Right.
And that's so strong to me, using the word stupid. There is a difference between silly and stupid, is there not?
Well, to us there is, but they sort of, I mean, yeah, like you say, oh, don't be silly or don't be stupid. There's a huge difference in what you're saying, but they would use it the same way here. You would say, you know, nie bądź głupi, meaning don't be silly, right?
Yeah, or wygłupiać się.
Yeah,
Right? He's
kind
being
of.
silly, but you wouldn't use like, my son's been stupid.
You might, but
Depends on your son.
yeah.
Thanks, Amanda.
But-
Let's move on to the next adjective, and that's tempe.
Tempe.
Which means your knife
Dull.
is dull, right? It's
Right.
not working properly. It needs to be sharpened. Now, in English, you can't say, oh, my son's real dull. That means boring.
You could say he's dull-witted, right?
Dull-witted.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Or
Yeah.
we do have these expressions like, well, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, or he's not the
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Using a little understatement there.
Yeah.
But with tempe, for the most part, I was thinking you could use more, well, he's thick in British English.
He's thick, and
He's
then
not too sharp. Or dense is what we used to say
dense.
as kids.
You're
Oh,
dense.
he's dense.
Yeah, dense or thick, which is, you know.
Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
American, I would say dense. British, thick, but not necessarily one way or the other. I mean, we do use thick as well, you were mentioning.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people say it's thick and maybe dense is more American, or you know, if somebody's thick-headed, or
Don't be dense.
don't be so dense. Right. Right.
And the last one we have is chemne.
Chemne.
Chemne is another funny one because we can't call somebody dark.
Right. You could say that somebody's dim.
He's a bit dim.
He's dim. He's a little dim, kind of he's a dim bulb or something like that.
He's not bright.
I hate to say this, but I had an ex-boyfriend that my father's nickname for him was Dim. So,
What does dim mean? Now, dim means like to...
not bright.
Yeah, but you have the dimmer. It means to make things darker, right?
yeah.
But he's a bit dim means not bright. It has the same
Right.
kind of, well, etymological background as chemne, but you would say it's getting dim. Let's turn the lights on. Or you have a dimmer, which would make the
Right.
lights darker,
Yeah.
not so bright.
Yeah, so it's just, you know, the opposite of bright is dim, or the, you
Yeah,
know,
or dimmed-
contrast to it,
Dimmed
right?
windows.
Yeah.
Right?
or-
It's the same idea. But we can't say he's dark.
No, because if you say he's dark, that's a whole other thing. That means he's kind of, you know, got something a little bit upstairs or whatever that makes him kind
Something
of
bad about that
something
boy.
bad about him. Yeah, he's got some dark, you know, something.
So these are a lot of vocabulary words to remember. And one of the
Right.
things you need to remember is that a lot of this vocabulary is culturally linked. Another thing is that people use particularly such derogatory words in various ways. They personalize them, they use them in their own ways. And so it's difficult. You have to really experiment with English, have a lot of fun telling jokes or
Yeah.
having hoaxes in English with your English teachers. And when using these words, just realize that they may have different meanings, slight nuances, sometimes not so slight. And as a result, you may be saying something a little bit stronger or weaker than you had intentioned and anticipated. So just be a little bit careful. So the next time you say, oh, he's a cretin, or if you were to say, oh, he's stupid, you might not be saying he's silly. And cretin, maybe we won't understand necessarily because we don't use that word as often.
Yeah, we might think he's just Greek from the Isle of
I
Crete.
think that's another story altogether.
Right.
Cretan is not cretin, but cretin, as you've mentioned, is a condition.
That's right.
All right, well, if you can remember that, you remember something from our lesson. We hope that you have a fantastic April Fool's Day and fool some people out there. That's from the two of us.
Okay,
Amanda,
April Fools.
April Fools. And we wish you all the best from Świat, Języków. Bye-bye.
Bye.